What you're witnessing in the above video occurred on Sunday, July 9th in Drumcondra, Dublin, Ireland. Did you see this covered in the mainstream media, or the likes of RTE for example, or the Irish Times for that matter? What about the journal.ie? The only newspaper I could find this covered in was the Sunday World. Why is that? It seems many lesser news stories were covered during the same day, as well as news stories that have nothing much to do with Ireland directly or indirectly. In all my life, I have never seen something like this happen in a place like Drumcondra, but here we are. And once again, just like so many other attacks, the attacker doesn't even care to hide his face. I suppose at least that benefits the Gardaí to make it easier to prosecute him. That is how fearless they are. Why? Because they know there is such little penalty in Ireland for crime. Again, I ask the question, how on earth does someone firebombing a fast food restaurant that could have killed or maimed either the people inside or passers-by not make the mainstream news? It is ignored. Just like all the other serious antisocial behaviour happening on a daily basis that the Irish government and media seem to have just normalised and avoid reporting on for the most part. Are we now so woke we can't call out this kind of criminal behaviour? Should we instead feel sorry because little Johnny had a poor upbringing? Is it that the media, associated corporations and government don't want people to wake up and realise what their society has become? I can tell you one thing, it didn't used to be like this in Dublin. I've personally avoided commenting on this kind of thing due to the way words are so easily twisted these days, but enough is enough. I do not have any political allegiance or motives. I am just fed up that common sense in politics and the media appears to have left the building, whilst Ireland is descending into a society based on fear and lawlessness. Take a look at the next clip of the same incident where the perpetrator also attacks a passer-by after seemingly setting himself on fire during his attack on the fast food restaurant. It appears to me that there is a dangerous and increasing sense of lawlessness in Ireland, particularly in Dublin, but not only. You wouldn't know much about it though from the government or media. It almost appears as though it is forbidden to talk about, address or acknowledge in any serious way. Instead, the public are being fed distractions. According to the Sunday World, the man who committed this crime was in his 50s and was arrested. What kind of sentencing will he receive? Based on the record of the Irish judicial system, probably not much more than a slap on the wrist. Why is this tolerated? If the Minister for Justice and the Irish government spend as much time on drafting legislation creating real penalties against antisocial behaviour for youths and adults alike as they do on creating dangerously new and vague laws against what essentially amount to thought crimes, that will, by the way, serve no one well, then maybe, just maybe, we could have a better society. Antisocial behaviour such as this appears to be ignored by both government and media in favour of distraction stories like the current RTE fiasco. Why is that? Is it more entertaining? Is that all that matters now? Are the media being blocked from reporting on these kind of topics? Because it just doesn't add up how such crimes are ignored, especially when footage like this is being spread around social media. Do we have to look to social media to see what is going on? The same social media which ironically is to blame, in my opinion, for much of the decline of society that we are seeing here. Meanwhile, much of the Irish public is afraid to walk the streets or even take public transport for fear of being assaulted or verbally abused. But nope. We couldn't have a transport police, could we, like many other countries have? Anyway, that's for another video. Take a look at this next article from July 11th. This was also ignored by the mainstream news for the most part. A 13-year-old boy was left with serious head injuries and broken bones after being attacked by a group of youths in a Dublin park in broad daylight. The attack lasted for 20 minutes. According to the article, he was repeatedly kicked in the head and beaten with sticks and thought he was going to die. To quote the article in the Irish Mirror, the horror attack, which was witnessed by others, allegedly saw one youth say they needed to finish off the teenager by running over his head with a bicycle, but the final brutal act was called off. It seems the poor boy was lured to the park to be attacked and the attack was planned. Dublin Live stated, "The mother has since been told that the attack was filmed and streamed to social media and she now hopes those who have the footage will hand it over to Gardaí." Streamed to social media, what? Doesn't that make your stomach churn in absolute disgust that some sick, twisted individual not only recorded the attack, but also streamed it to social media? Again, what will be the legal repercussions for all those involved? And what will be the legal repercussions for their parents? For goodness sake, the boy attacked could have lost his life or have been left brain damaged. This recent phenomenon of youths filming themselves committing such brutal and life-threatening crimes says it all, really. That is how little fear they have from the judicial system. They are not scared of any repercussions or incriminating themselves. Can you imagine this is where we are at in 2023 in Ireland? Again, Dublin was not like this before, not even close. Yet this type of behaviour is happening on a daily basis now and being filmed. it isn't even being properly reported on most of the time by the state media and much of the mainstream media. We are talking about huge volumes of youths involved regularly in this type of behaviour. These are not isolated incidents. There is no power to stop them. Why are the parents not punished? Why are the youths not punished? Minister for Justice and to the Irish government, why are you not drafting legislation to protect the public if the current legislation is not good enough? Frankly, the current legislation is pretty much useless in its current state. A warning or some community service is probably all these youths will get. You and I both know they won't even care. Where have the values of our society gone? The media and government selectively choose which values they want to promote, whilst at the same time ignore the basic and most fundamentally important values of our society. Values that once upon a time used to exist and actually stood for something. And in reality, it wasn't that long ago. This is how quickly these changes have happened around us. I mean, it speaks for itself. It is infuriating to watch a once great country that was built on community devolve into this. What is going to be done about this by the government is what I would like to know. We have decreasing Garda numbers. Those that do still work for An Garda Síochána seem to have little power to do much and are tied up with administrative red tape, wasting much of their time from what I've read. Garda numbers are falling due to lack of investment, lack of housing, and importantly because who wants to work for a police force that has so little power and can be attacked and insulted by criminals who face little consequence? Why don't we have a zero tolerance policy enacted like they did in New York City in the late 90s, for example? Why don't we have real lasting penalties for youth antisocial behaviour? Why don't we have serious penalties for parents of youths involved in this kind of crime? Do you see these types of crimes, thuggery and antisocial behaviour occurring in continental Europe? As someone who has lived on and off in continental European cities, I can safely tell you this does not happen like it does in Dublin today. Let me know what you think in the comments. Have you too had enough of seeing this kind of antisocial crime, blatant disregard for your fellow human and for the future of this country, which is regressing at such an astonishing rate it is hard to even get your head around? I'll leave it there for now until the next video, highlighting as a society what we have become.